Hello. Well, we said we might be back. Kin is done with the parent-teacher conferences. Wait. Oh no! Did we look at that? We launched straight into an error. Was that what happened right now? Perfect. Perfect start to the stream. We love it. Excellent. It looks like we have to close this. So, for future reference to Kin's future self, do not hit continue. Let's see if we can do restoring. And then we should be able to pick, yeah. Yes. There we go. Okay. So, oh, Kin is tired, and it was thinking about doing a crochet stream today after the parent-teacher conference, but it's feeling a little too tired for all that. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to try and see if we can get a little progress in on Reaper before it has to stop what it's doing again and go pick up its husband. We are absolutely hoping that by this Sunday morning, Kim will not have to be the taxi for its family anymore. It is so looking forward to that. It is so looking forward to being able to just lock in and have an uninterrupted stream for the most part, instead of having to constantly stop to do X, Y, Z. At least maybe it was just worse this week because the parent-teacher conference is on top of having to shuttle hubby over to work, which, you know, Kin understands it's necessary, but it's a little tough when you're trying to do your own thing and then you have to keep stopping what you're doing. Anybody who has ADHD or autism kind of understands what it's like to have trouble with transitions and moving from one task to another. Sometimes you're just really into what you're doing and you don't like having to stop, and that's been Kin's frustration all week. So, anyways, you can see we're continuing the casual streaming vibes. Kin does not feel like putting on the whole get up. Oh, but actually, today the new fangs that it ordered should hopefully have arrived by now. It's not sure. They should have left it on the doorstep. It's not going to try to mold the fangs on stream. Anyway, so we were in Wofford's cottage. Quinlan, who is a reporter for the Virtual Herald, has an assistant who he was in a romantic entanglement with that was attacked by a serial killer named the Ripper. Now, Quinlan has become, he's already been covering these murders, but he has become more deeply invested after his lover was essentially put into a coma. So there is the actual detective on the case, played by Christopher Walken, is Detective Magnata, who is kind of shady, and he had been involved in this separate case dealing with a sort of genius inventor named Wofford. Forget his first name, but his last name was Wofford, and he had a twin brother, so his twin brother is here, and he doesn't know how to help us. But we're trying to see if we can find, like, Wofford's work, because we're hoping that this is somehow connected to the Ripper case for some reason. So anyway, the two puzzles that we've encountered in this house is the coin puzzle, which is in this very room. Pretty sure it's in this room. Yes. So there's this coin puzzle, and Kin thought it had solved it. Silly Kin. These games are never so straightforward. So Ken thought it had solved it. It had tried putting in 10, like 10 cents, 5, like 5 cents, and then 2 pennies for something that would kind of equate January 5th, presumably 2011. And that did not work. Now, we don't know if there's some sort of extra trick to it, if the game is just quibbling over us. I don't see. So you can only do 1, 5, 10, and 25. So those are the only numbers that can show up, and they all appear here, and then we're assuming that something good will happen, like the cash register will open and give us something important. We haven't figured it out. We thought we were smart. We thought we had it. But that wasn't it. And then Ken had written down that clock that was stuck at 2:35, which, yeah, that's it. It was, but the hour hand was pointing at 2 and the minute hand was pointing at 7. I'm starting to think it should update its stream tags to chatty. It is kind of a chatty creature, isn't it? It's always babbling and trying to narrate and comment. It just seems like that's what you're supposed to do when you're streaming, but it's also just kind of nervous, and quite frankly, its mind is really busy. It's easy to just kind of regurgitate what's in its brain out. Well, we're hitting a little bit of a dead end up there. Not sure if there's anything else in the house. And this was the second puzzle. So this room has a board puzzle with like a ball maze. And you're supposed to hit these switches that affect which doors are open for the ball to reach the end of the maze. And Ken had hoped that maybe it was something that we could just brute force. We probably could brute force it, to be fair, but that wouldn't be very fun. Okay, this is what it wanted to look at before. It hadn't checked it back here. It thought that it was strange that they had all of the stuff back here and then we couldn't see it. Look at these clocks. Okay, we have that time. Maybe we just move it over so that it shows what it had been before? No? In the clock upstairs, it had been 2:35. I was pretty sure. Can't. Oh. We have to set them all. That's a funny little camel. Yay! Did we do it? No, apparently not. Interesting. Okay, so 3 clocks. They all... So there's the pyramid, there's the grandfather clock, and then there's this digital clock. It says U.S. Army there. Wonder if it's supposed to be suggestive of like some sort of passage of time. So like this is ancient times. This is could be oh, who knows? Between ancient times and future times. But maybe there's more. Maybe there are more clock faces for us to look at. Oh, the Graberson time zone chart. Ah, okay. So, Egypt. Pretty sure Egypt. Isn't it like over here? Can't remember where Egypt is. Sorry, it's gonna look this up. It's not that smart. Let's see here. Egypt. Map. That might be. Okay, no, that actually might be exactly what we need. It seems like it's somewhere here. So that looks like 2 o'clock? Really? Okay, 2 o'clock. And we think that the grandfather clock might be... Isn't that German? Aren't cuckoo clocks originally from Germany? And then the digital clock was showing U.S. Army. Though that is kind of mean because the United States literally has like 4 time zones. So... Is it that we're supposed to calculate from the American time? Because it's 2:35 where we are, which is supposed to be in America. Pretty sure. So maybe then we tell the time difference. We do a little clock math to get the difference between the different time zones. Sorry, one sec. I was pulling up the stream manager. Yeah, it's not really sure. So let's see. Let's go look. Look at these again. Maybe they give us more of a visual clue. Kind of startled Ken a little bit. Yeah, so this one's U.S. Army, so we know that this is supposed to be America. Obviously, this is Egypt. And this, it's pretty sure it's supposed to be Germany. If we think that this is supposed to be, if we're supposed to be 2:35, so let's put it up to 2:35. And then we're going to check out, now we just need to figure out the time difference from Germany to America. Might have to go back. We're gonna have to. That's okay. 1 second also while it does a thing. Okay. Sorry, one sec. It just realized that it could have probably, you know, done the whole, like, promotion thing. So, just doing this really quick. Okay. That's kind of annoying. You have to have the full URL address for it to actually show the click. Blah. Oh, it still doesn't want to do it. Well, fine, be that way. Be that way, Twitch. Okay, was it just because of the capitalization? That's weird. Very particular. Okay. Anyway, so we got to tell the time difference between Germany. And here, you know what? Let's look that up. Germany. Cuckoo clocks. It thinks that it came from them. Yeah, they were like from Bavaria. So let's get a time calculator. Or yeah, time zone calculator. And that should come up with the differences between, let's do Germany and Egypt. And what is this place that we're at? What is the setting? Were we in New York? We want to say New York. Okay, so why do they have to put it in? Okay. Sorry, it was showing military time. And of course, like, immediately Ken was like, whoa. Okay, so then it's gonna be, let's try it. It's not sure, it's really not sure if we're correct. We need to maybe go and double check what setting we're at. Let's see here. And then this was supposed to be 8. 35. And Cairo. 9? Oh no, we went past it. They have PM? Oh, that's harsh. We don't know. We don't know if it was PM. Hold on. Is this military? It is military time. Maybe it's... No, but that's still wrong. 1835, 835, 935. We need to look up what time zone maybe we're supposed to be in. That probably is need to know information. So Ken is going to go look around. Yeah, see, over here is like Egypt. And it forgets where Germany is. Germany over there? Like, it has no idea. So let's just dip back. We're turning around, hopefully. Oh no, okay, we're just facing a wall. Dark ass wall. I wish we could look at that, whatever that is, on the coffee table. But perhaps it's not really important. So let's go back through here. Was this the only door that we could go through? Don't mind him. That's the other Wofford brothers' brother. Yeah, they don't let us do too much in this space. I have to try to figure this out. Sorry, 1 second. It's just clearing some notifications. This really is so easy to get distracted. And Ken's trying to keep this up as its dashboard manager. Okay. Maybe we should go over to the net and just see. Maybe it'll just help us remember. We could also look at our database. Let's look at our database first. Database. Central Park. Yeah. Okay. So we were right. New York City. So it is New York. It's 2:30. It just going purely off of that clock upstairs. 2:35 here in New York. Oh, wait, but the other... Okay, hold on. Maybe we weren't entirely wrong. It might have been that the Egyptian clock was also using military time. So if the Egyptian clock is also using military time, then we needed to change that. Let's go back and double check. It is always fun to have to go back through all of the animations. That's why sometimes Ken will just really sit on a screen, because man, if you gotta leave, it's gonna take you a hot minute to get back to where you need to go. Hopefully the game's not too quiet for you guys. It actually hasn't had a chance to check over its past stream, but at least for the few people that stopped in, it didn't seem like that was causing too much of an issue. So 18:35, right? And then that's at 8:35. It's still left that there. No, this one has... Oh, but it does have a PM. Okay. So this is 12 a.m., correct? Pretty sure the dot means PM. So... What did we put? We don't remember. Egypt was 9:35, so maybe 9:35 p.m.? Okay, no fanfare. No glorious victory for Kid. It really is actually just like completely like turning this thing, hoping that was it. No. Damn it. They really don't want to just hand you a damn thing. You gotta fight for every little bit of progress. And ironically, this isn't, in terms of like interactive, adventure game puzzles, this isn't even the most ridiculous. Kin's just sucking a little bit. It's a little tired. It didn't sleep well last night. We woke up at like 12:40 and then did not sleep for like 2 hours, and then we passed out then we did pass out around 2 o'clock. Slept for about 2 hours, and then we had to get up again to go take our husband to work. So Ken was exhausted. Yeah. Well, let's go back upstairs. Let's go back upstairs and look at that clock. Maybe we're just misunderstanding something important. Let's see. All right. This was the other thing that we had thought was important. You can see where King got the idea for the coin puzzle here. And then they have this patent number, P2X2 55127.5A. But it hasn't seen anything yet that would seem to warrant this or need this information in any way, shape, or form yet. So let's go upstairs. We could also look at the document again. Let's do that. It's easy, right? Database. So there you go. Hamilton, that's his name. Answered call to a cottage in Old Central Park, where we discovered the body of Hamilton Wofford, a noted cyberspace architect, a maker of virtual environments. Wofford was shot once in the head by an unidentified assailant. Death was instantaneous. His brother, Covington, who's downstairs, also resides at the cottage, but had no information pertaining to the crime. The penal code is 4587-2. Chief Investigating Officer was Margaret Poster. Huh. Kind of weird that Magnata had this. Okay. Let's go forward. Stare at this clock like our lives depend on it. Now notice that the actual clock face is turned a little bit. It doesn't know if that matters. You can't do anything with the clock. There's no hotspots here. It's just Is it actually pointing at the 7, or is it actually just a little bit off? Maybe it's 234, not 237. That'd be kind of a crazy mistake to make, but okay. It's too bad that this can't tell us, like, AM, PM. It's also just weird that it's just a little bit cocked. But it doesn't want to say that that's actually meaning, like, well, maybe that's actually 8 and then 3, because it's not tilted enough. You know? And there's nothing else for us to look at. There isn't much to look at here either. We tried doing the 10, 5, 1, 1, and that didn't work. Just so you guys can see. But it doesn't amount to anything you can use. Yeah, it just resets. The hope is to get that open. So let's move on. Is kind of sorely disappointed that was not the answer. It is. It makes a kind of sense to Kin, you know? Pretty sure we had to walk up to the door before we could turn around and actually see what we want to see. Maybe not. It's not sure. The way that movement works in this game can be really kind of fussy. Having not much to go on, we're gonna try moving this. So this was 8. Oh, but you can only move it by 5s. So then it can't be that. Oh, for heaven's sakes. tried it both ways. We tried doing 1835. Wait, was it 18? Is it really supposed to be 18? Let's say it's midnight. Go 1435, right? Why are we doing 18? No. Still no. Okay. Oh! Still a negative. We're wondering if maybe we're wrong on the clock. Like, is the clock not supposed to be the time that we're doing? Maybe that's where we're messing up. Where were cuckoo clocks invented? It is unknown, but it is thought that much of its development and evolution was made in the Black Forest area in southwestern Germany. It is a cultural icon of Germany. So we're probably on the right track there. That is probably what it is. It just wants to say that this area where we're at is probably important for us to do because we got the journal from our assistant, but it's encrypted. So if anything, the encryption key is probably here. Unless we can go back to talk to Soap Beatty. But he's not... Was he a hacker? Maybe he could give us what we need. I couldn't remember what Soap Beatty's actual deal was. But look up really quick just to make absolutely sure. Maybe we just have something wrong. Germany... World map. Time zone? Maybe we just have the wrong time zone? Possible. It's on a single time zone. That's Central European. Is it the hand? Could it be that the hands are actually pointing? No, but when we were looking at it, because the clock face up there. Sorry. We were like kissing the mic. The clock face upstairs was just a little bit crooked, so Ken was just wondering, like, is it actually trying to say that it's really pointing somewhere else? Like, maybe it's actually 3:40? So then, with that logic, we just need to do the time zone calculator again. Okay, so if it was actually 3:40, and that would make it 9:40 here. Come on, there you go. And then in Cairo, 10:40. Try AM first. Oh, we have to go all the way around. Okay, so not that. So let's try that. Right? No. I'm trying to change it. If it's 3 p.m., then that would make it 15:40. And then we don't change the middle clock, but it's still not working. Oy vey. It just feels like it's just doing it wrong. This time calculator is just not helping it out. Like, please. Yeah, Eastern US. This is really hard. No, not that one. Let's say it's that. None of these calculators are very helpful. It had no idea. It feels like it has most of the information that it needs. They gave a starting time upstairs. They have this. Is it because of this? Is it a different time zone chart? Is that why? Robertson time zone. Apparently not. let's try this. For New York, Germany, and West time in military time. It's 2:35 in New York. What is that in military time? And Egypt, non-military. You'd think that Kin would be able to go ahead and use its computer for this, but even with 2 monitors, somehow it still does not have enough screens. It's kind of frustrating. Okay, so we probably were having the wrong time because we just suck at military time. So let's try 14:35. 8:35 in Germany. And 9:35 in Egypt. Yes! Oh, okay. It was just that it was like, it has to be that we're just getting one of the times wrong. And of course, it was the military time because kid has never been in the military and does not use military time in general. Use? You cannot use this object here. Okay, got it. I got a vacuum tube. Fuck do we need a vacuum tube for? Let's look at our inventory. Can we examine it? No. Cannot use this object here. Okay. Fine. But nevertheless, we got progress. In fact, let's save before something. Figure it out. Clocks. Yay. We did a thing. And apart from using a time zone calculator, we pretty much figured it out on our own. Without any hints or walkthroughs. Granted, you know, honestly, it doesn't know too many people who would need to have some kind of a reference for that. Maybe people who were in the military, but... a vacuum tube. Maybe do we use the vacuum tube on the clock upstairs? Quinlan didn't... He said something when we first looked at it, but he hasn't brought it up since. So... Gosh, yes, we turned toward the door because we want to go through the door, not stare at the door. It's a little frustrating sometimes, the way movement works. Let's see if we can use the vacuum tube in the clock. Probably not. It is seldom that straightforward. Use? Nope. Alright. I can't think of any other place that had a need for a vacuum tube. So we'll just have to brave it. Let's see. Maybe we can try and go back downstairs. Let's go on a journey, you guys. Let's go downstairs. We're doing it. We're still pretty good on time here. We have a little around an hour left. The fact that Covington's just standing there with the bat and will not put it down, it kind of makes Ken a little sad. Let's see here. Can we show you?
You snoop around too much. For your own good. I'm more dangerous
Hey there, Scrambles.
than I look.
How's it going? Yeah,
warn
the
you.
Discord's doing really well. Really enjoying it there. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, how you doing? Currently, we're just struggling with this. Ken's having a hell of a time trying to figure out some of these puzzles, but we are making progress. It's just kind of the nature of these old games where you can be stuck on a puzzle for a while. But hopefully you're doing well. Are we just gonna we're just gonna face Covington again, aren't we? That's what we're gonna do. Alright. Well, we don't want to talk to that old man. Yeah, it's good that you're doing all right. Yeah, this game's great. It really it's a pretty interesting game. The acting, oh gosh, we're back. The acting's great, and as you can see, they have pretty elaborate rendered environments, right down to the walking animations. But yeah, they actually had quite a few people in here. They had Paul Giamatti. They had, oh gosh, we forget her name. I want to say it's Karen, and she was the love interest in Indiana Jones. Ozzie Davis, who's an old school actor, the coach for Rocky. That was actually the guy that we talked to. Covington. Well, technically the acting is awful, just like all the FMV games back in the day, but it's hard to look away. You know, true, the game is hammy, but quite frankly, like, it's this one's actually a step above. They had a lot of really good talent on here. Some of them before their careers really took off, or others when their careers were kind of like coming down, you know, from their heights. So you had a lot of promising actors and veterans that were working on this, and yeah, because of the nature of FMV games, it was a lot of it's pretty hammy, but it's not too terrible. Like, Ken has definitely seen worse. It's certainly better than plumbers don't wear ties. Oh, man. It is so happy that you brought that up. It's like, no, not enough people know that crazy game exists. I should probably try to play that sometime.
Still digging for dirt on your girlfriend, Quinlan? You got to keep an eye on him.
Alright, we already talked to him. Let's see. Can we show him the vacuum tube? Nope. We were hoping that he could help us with our electronic journal here. This needs to be decrypted. I haven't gotten that desperate to play it yet. That's understandable, man. That's understandable. These games really do take, it's kind of like an acquired taste, you know? But Ken grew up with these kinds of things, and when it was growing up, man, seeing this stuff, it was mind-blowing. It thought that this was like how video games were going to be. It was going to be this blending of live action and you know,
Watch
interactive
yourself with
gameplay.
Falconetti, kid.
And then this was turning into a dead end too. Sorry, we're trying to see if we can just figure out what to do next here. This whole location was actually in pursuit of a completely different line of inquiry regarding a guy named Falconetti. But oh, does it do the animation again?
How
Here,
about
it'll
a beer?
play it.
Yeah, sure thing.
It'll play it just for you. All right, Scrambles. Hope you enjoy it.
Try this one. It's called Viper Pills. Goes down real smooth. It's got
Real
some bite.
smooth. Real smooth and all over the counter.
Nail the ripper so that my customers can get drunk in public again, huh?
Okay. Cheers.
Yeah, it's pretty great. That guy was just having fun with it. He was just like, yeah, I'll pour this for you, not even looking where he's going. Yeah, we're stuck. Yeah, that makes sense. It was some pretty fun. It looked like that was just completely improv. Like they were just fucking around, and they just played it straight though. Right? Yeah, his stock counts are probably really bad. The newsroom. I can't remember where we needed a vacuum tube. If anywhere, we don't want to go back to Catherine Hill's apartments. Pretty sure we're done with that section. We can try and go back to Wofford Cottage and just muscle our way through that. There was a ball maze puzzle that we haven't solved yet. That was the next thing. We just we didn't want to have to try to brute force it. We thought maybe there might be more hints somewhere. But this is actually Ken's first playthrough, yes. So it has... It kind of like, what was it? It must have been over a decade ago. Spoonie, if you remember that guy. He used to be a prominent YouTuber back in the day. He played through this, and it had watched a lot of that, but he complained so much that Ken's pretty sure he didn't finish. So no, this is tough. And it's actually, they have like difficulty levels for different things. So they had the difficulty level for combat at like, what is it? Medium, and then it lowered it down to easy because its mouse was acting up in the emulator. And then the puzzles, it's been stubborn because its pride does not really want to lower that. But yeah, that's how I know this game. Love me, Spoonie. Yeah! Yeah, is he doing better? It hasn't tried to catch up. It knows that he was having a bit of a hard time for a while, but it's good to hear that he's doing well. Yeah, yeah. It used to watch a lot of Spoonie, a lot of Spoonie. Had a lot of cool content. So that's awesome that he's doing better. Okay. Now this puzzle, there were some lights that corresponded, and it's sorry about the chatbot. It needs to do something about the chatbot. Timers on it are ridiculous, and it keeps, for whatever reason, only doing one message, even though it has multiple messages. So it doesn't know. We need to figure out our timers. So it didn't really want to brute force this because if Ken just keeps pushing random buttons, so this bottom one does. Oh wait, well maybe we can figure that out this way. So bottom switch is red. Let's just do. There's 5 switches. We can only have 4 moves though. It's assuming we don't want to do blue, maybe, because blue is kind of set apart, so maybe we should avoid doing blue. So let's try to figure out which one's blue. Yeah, he's been doing some podcast stuff with the main actor in Phantasmagoria, too. That's cool! Wow! Oh, man, it's going to have to catch up then. I love Phantasmagoria, too. That was one of the things it was thinking about adding to its rotation, but it wasn't sure how well it would do with, how intense it can be sometimes. Okay, so the third one is green. Maybe we had everything we needed to solve this one. We were just being a little lazy. Alright, so this one was white. Oh no, they did that in 3. So we need to solve it in 3 moves. White. The actor watched Spoonie's old Let's Plays and got in touch as far as I know, so that's nice. That's really cool. That's awesome. Yeah, it's been a big fan of anybody who covered, like, old stuff. Like, obviously Spoonie, Dungeon Chill, Grimbeard. It's mentioned a lot on, it's mentioned a lot, their channel on stream. But, so that one, is that red? That one up here, this was red. And now that one's green? It changes. Okay, so it's not as straightforward as it was hoping. It hasn't figured out which one's blue yet. Is it kind of like an RGB thing? No, surely not, because why would white be included then? Or yellow. Yeah, so anybody who covered, like, old things, Slow Beef was another one. Oops, sorry. It's gotta be careful about its alarms and timers. But that is actually a good reminder. It's 5, so it's got like 45 minutes left. Oh. Yeah, I used to watch a lot of the old guy that guy with the glasses / channel. Awesome. Still do to an extent, but some of the old creators I used to watch, nah, they've been a bit questionable. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, like, what was it? Is it Cinemassacre? A lot of those guys, yeah. It's blanking on, it's really horrible with names, but it thinks it knows kind of like the sphere of, like, YouTube that you're talking about. Oh boy, well, this is... Okay, so whatever you hit is going to be red first, right? It had just been screwing around before. So this isn't the switches aren't associated to the colors. The colors are associated with whatever order you hit them in. But then how do you get yellow and blue to light up? The old screen wave fiasco. AVGN seems to have improved in the last year. See, James Rolfe is hard to dislike. Yeah, it had watched, what was it? It was Folding Ideas, pretty sure. Him or some other guy who had covered something about angry video game nerd. And it was just like, they were like, dude, it was funny because they were making it out almost like it was a hit piece. And then at the end of it, the conclusion was, the guy just wants to spend time with his family. Like, he just wants to have his own life. Like, because after AVGN kind of became part of that media network, they were just kind of pumping out a bunch of stuff that he just really was not passionate about. You could see it, right? So, it hasn't been following recently with what he's been doing, but that's also good that if he's having an more enjoyment out of the content that he's covering, that'd be great. I like some Folding Ideas, but I've heard that guy's a bit iffy in real life. Some creators have distanced themselves from him, sadly. Really? Now that is sad. It really had liked Folding Ideas a lot. Oh man. Well, that's just a shame. You really just, it's kind of a lesson. You really cannot go standing somebody too hard because they'll eventually let you down. Right? It's just kind of the world we're in. There's got to be some sort of trick to this. There's got to be. It's always red, green. It doesn't matter which one it hits. Red, green, white. All the time. And you have to wait for the ball to go all the way. Honestly, a lot of bigger YouTubers always seem to be on a clock. Like, how long is it going to be until it turns out they are a terrible person? True, right. It was kind of like with Markiplier, it's been waiting to hear some sort of horrible scandal or something. But he still hasn't, it seems like he hasn't really been caught up in anything too serious. And then there was the Completionist. The Completionist had been getting dragged by some ordinary gamers for apparently taking a bunch of donations for this charity or something, and yet it seemed like there hadn't been a return or like actual proof that the donation had been made. But then the Completionist kind of came back, and he had a very clear, detailed apology, but also explanation about what happened. And it seems like he might have come out of the hot water there. Before it was a lot of denials, but now that it sounds like he's kind of tried to own up to it, he seems to have kind of bounced back from that a bit. Yes, Iron Lung, it's just been, it had a friend that went to go see it and heard that it was really, really good. Really good. Yeah, that's understandable. Have you seen his apology video about the donation issue? It seemed like a fairly good, mea culpa, taking ownership, also kind of explaining what went wrong. So, yeah, it's not trying to push you to go watch anybody, really. It's all a landmine out there. It's like a minefield. It doesn't know. Has no idea. What is the trick here? Because and is it the same switch that deals with the same, lever trapdoor things? Does switch 1 always affect the same doors? Maybe that's something we should test. So switch 1 did do at least the ones on the bottom. It didn't handle it well. I did, but I still don't buy it, honestly. At the very least, this family are questionable. That's fair. That's fair. Okay, so the bottom switch does seem to affect the same switches. I didn't really look at what affects the... So this one does mess with that. It's just too bad that you can't, like, redo the same switch. You only have 3 switches that you can hit. And if you hit a switch that you didn't mean to, then I can see why Greg left the show back when he did. Yeah. Gosh, it's Stream Elements is kind of embarrassing it right now. Maybe I should, like, go turn it off. It's not too much to figure out. Let's see here. Dashboard. Are we logged in? We're not logged in. That's part of the problem. Get in there. I'm gonna turn off those timers. Stupid things. Somewhere. Chatbot. Where's the chatbot? Chatbot. Timers. Turn. No, yeah. Turn all of these off. Okay. Let's try that. Sorry about that. It's gotta look up like a tutorial or something about the timers. And then it didn't pay attention to which one the third switch affects. Sorry, for a second it was feeling crazy and thought that its husband was home. That's gotta be impossible. He doesn't have a car. Not use Stream Elements, but I do use MooBot and WiseBot, both absolutely excellent and free. WiseBot is amazing at kicking bots, so is SariBot. Is it good at doing, like, the bots that try to, like, do, like, the fake URLs that are all, like, spaced out? Because, man, Kin keeps getting those guys, and it's really annoying. It's just kind of dicking around with the switches at this point. It hates trying to brute force puzzles. Would like to figure it out. There's this other guy who is doing Black Dahlia right now on Twitch. His name is Toasted Post. That was another game Ken was thinking about, but that game is even harder when it comes to the puzzles. And Ken has so much respect for how much patience he has. He does not care. He will sit there and just stare at the puzzle. And granted, you've got chat there kind of keeping him company, but Ken feels a lot of pressure to just move on. Just go to the next thing. There we go. We want that. We want that. So this is clear now. So maybe we want to leave that as is. But then we have to figure out what moves these ones here. But they always... This? No, that seemed to mess up. Some of the switches, like, there's some of the switches affect some of the same doors for the ball. Because the one that Ken just flipped affected this door. So now we'll put it back. And now that one's... Oh, okay. Nope. That's not it. Yep, they are amazing. Don't go without. Really easy to set up. You're not sponsored by any... plugins? You sure, Brambles? You sure? Nah, it's just kidding. It's just kidding. It'll have to look into that. It kind of just went with Stream Elements because it was just automatic. It was easy. There seemed to be a lot of compatibility. And actually, also, Kin has a couple of plugins. If you want to try a plugin, it should be set up. You can do !GIF, GIF, and then just type in a word or a phrase, like it could be GIF happy, GIF monkey, GIF something. And then a little GIF thing will pop up. But it needs to be on Stream Elements. Pretty sure. Don't use Nightbot. It's more trouble than it's worth and loves to break the stream. Yeah, it's heard some things about Nightbot. There you go. Let's see if that works. Oh, do we not have the overlay? We don't have the overlay for it. Damn it. If it was another screen, here. We'll do another screen. Now it's showing off its commands. Did that work? Oh, maybe we have a cooldown on top of that. Anyway, it should have been. See, we don't have the GIF widget. We have to add it to this one. it's because we had a cooldown. There is a source though. We should be able to just pop it on. Oop. There we go. Now it should work on this screen, but. I might have to look this up. Yep, there you go. Now it works. We're mad. Damn it, we're mad. Yeah, we're gonna look this one up. It always bums us out a little bit, but we're going to use the Universal Hint System Guide. Because the nice thing is that it'll kind of like, well, as the name implies, it gives you hints. It doesn't completely give it away until you get to the end of the hint tree. Wofford's Cottage. And we can do something about Falconetti. Okay. I solved the maze. Yes, Kin would like to solve the maze. So the ball must... Yes, of course we know that it needs to go to the checkered area. Thank you. After any 3 buttons are toggled, the ball rolls. We figured that out as well. It can be solved in 3 steps. We figured that. First, find which buttons control which gates. But it's so hard to remember. Gosh, that's just rough. Of course, we have to find a button configuration that will let the ball through. Okay. We're already 5. We're 5 out of 8 on the hints. Finally, get the proper buttons down. So it has to be in a certain order. To get all the gates you need, close only the last switch. What? So far, this has been really, really helpful. But this was not the best hint tree. This is why I very rarely play puzzle games on stream that I haven't already played at least once. I look like a dumbass at the best of times. I don't need the puzzles to look worse. Yeah, it can understand that. It actually really loves puzzle games. But sometimes these old ones are just really obtuse. And they ask a lot. But this was something that kind of Toasted Post had been saying. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Toasted Post had been saying on his stream that, you know, when it comes to some of these old games, people didn't mind the difficulty. They didn't mind being stuck on the same puzzle for months. And when you think about how infrequently people purchased new games because it was expensive and a myriad of other reasons, just like, you know, just think about it. Like back in the day, like most people only had a handful of games. So In that sense, these games could actually be kind of nice. Like it was just something like really meaty for you to chew over for a long time. Not that Kin says that it would actually have enjoyed that, because it would not have. The moon logic, yeah. The moon logic has been a little crazy with this game. There was one puzzle where it had to make the Pisces constellation out of like these crystals on a grid, and when we actually looked up the answer, Ken was like, "This doesn't even look like the damn constellation." Like, well, games were shorter, so rental stores wanted games obtuse and difficult, so you couldn't beat them and rent them out again. Exactly. Yeah. And also, there was, the arcade element for any games that were originally arcade games. They wanted them to be difficult because they wanted you to keep feeding in quarters. So, the difficulty of these older games was crazy. You know what? Here, this is what we're supposed to do. Probably. Maybe for each Switch, we're supposed to kind of like draw where each thing is. But that is, well, it's a little time consuming, but we'll try it. So this one over here starts like that. That. We just have to remember which way they're kind of going, like right or left. So right, no, wait, left, right, right, left, left. And then everything through the middle is right, 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 right. And then left, 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 right. So this is the default. Correct. No internet, so no solutions for you. So buy the strategy guide for 20 quid. Or call the helpline and spend like $10 for every minute trying to ask for help on the next Monkey's Island puzzle or something. The Indiana Jones puzzle. So this is what we're doing. It doesn't look like much, but we're trying to see if we can divine how these change with each switch. So first switch. On the bottom switch, the first switch. And we probably won't have time to figure this one out, but at least we can kind of get started on our notes. It's really nice having somebody just hang out to chat. That's cool. Makes this kind of feel more bearable. That's one thing that Kin's kind of jealous on when it comes to other streamers who do sort of the same content, is that they have people who are kind of patient enough to stick it out with them. Okay. There you go. So we have to also be careful, because every time we hit a switch, it changes the switch, but we need to look at what switches are affected, not so much which direction the trap doors are going. So what was affected here? We'll circle the switches that were affected. Nothing in the middle was affected with the first switch. And then 3 of the bottom switches were affected. Wow, look at that. We're actually kind of feels like it's got a direction to go in. We didn't actually get the second one. We're gonna have to go back. Monkey Island reference. Love those games. Did you know the please insert disc 264 joke in Monkey Island 1 led to the poor people who were on the helpline got a load of flack because people didn't get the joke. It was removed in future versions of the game, and there's an Easter egg about it in Monkey's Island 2. Yes, it does remember that joke. It does remember it. You need to turn our light on. wants to say that it used to have the disc version, so probably by that point it had been patched, but it does remember looking it up and then seeing that reference about it in the second game. But yeah, we used to use our older brother's disc collection to play a lot of the LucasArts games. Okay, so we had the default, and it's all pretty much the same. We know that if we do the first switch, that 2 switches on the top, or 2 doors on the top are affected, and 3 doors on the bottom are affected. And that was just the first switch. Now going from the first switch to the second, this is what we missed before. We were supposed to take these notes and we kind of spaced. So right, 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 left, left. And this is left, left, right, 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 left. So the second switch affects 1, 2, 3 on the second level, and then 4 on the bottom. Okay, so this was the second switch. I'm old. I played the first game with my mom and dad and little sister around the family PC when the game first came out. All of us trying to work out the puzzles. Happy days. That is so sweet that you guys all worked on it together. That's great. Kin didn't do that with its family. But it did have a friend in the apartment complex where it used to live who came over, and a couple of times we played, what was it? Monkey's Island 3. That's the one that had the voodoo, right? And we just remember it's like that ending sequence when you're running from LeChuck and he stabs you with the voodoo doll, and you just get teleported to a different part of like the maze thing that you were in. We would scream, we would shriek, and it would terrify us so bad. Ken remembers trembling so hard, but it had so much fun playing that game with its friend back then. Yeah, that's wonderful, man. 3 is my personal favorite. The bit you were thinking of is 2. Okay, so it was 2. It's been a while since Ken's played those. Ken's 37, so it's not like the oldest millennial out there, but it remembers her quite a bit. It's just sometimes it's not very good with names. It's always getting things mixed up. It remembers the contents of things, but ask it for a name. God help it. So, alright, so we did the second switch. Now we need to do the third. This feels like we're making some progress here, though. Left, right, right, left, right, right, left, 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 right, right, right. Alright, this was the third. So, comparing that to the second switch, let me see for the first row. That's affecting 1, 2 switches, and then on the second row, affecting none of the switches, and on the fourth row, it affects none of the switches. That's interesting. Third switch only affects the top 2. Really? No. No way. Alright, we're concentrating really hard. 41. So you're 41, okay. Basically dust at this point. Planning on joining LeChuck's ghost crew soon. Oh, don't say that. Don't say that. Ken's husband is 40. He's actually probably in his prime right now. This is like the best shape he's ever been in. Okay, no, this was effective. It thought that was weird. It was like, how is it that there's nothing else that's different? And then on the second one, there's that one. And this one. Okay, so it does have. So that was the third switch. And then the fourth switch is left, 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 left on the top row. Right, left, left, left. And then on the bottom row, it's left, right, left, right. And comparing that. Fourth switch affects 1, 2, 3 switches on the top. There's so many crossovers. And none of those. Nothing in the middle, it looks like. On the bottom, 1, 2. 2 switches. This was 4. To be young and 40 again. Oh, man. Hey, what does this button do? Ooh, thank you very much, Brambles. Very appreciated. Welcome to the clan. Thank you very much. Every follow is absolutely precious and appreciated. We need them. We are very early in our streamer journey. So every little bit counts, man. Thank you, thank you. Alright, fifth switch. One step closer to 7 billion. Yeah. You're still hoping, right? Though, sometimes it doesn't know if it really wants to be that popular. It might be content with like just a solid, decent-sized community, like a small or medium-sized community. It doesn't need to be the biggest one out there. It doesn't need to be the big fish. Supposes it wouldn't hurt, just be more pressure. Right, 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 right. Left, right, left, left. So this is the fifth switch. Comparing it to fourth switch. Sorry, this is very granular, like, puzzle logicking it's trying to do right now. The hint systems seem to really indicate we need to figure out which ones affect which. So... And you can solve it in 3 moves, and you have to do it pretty much from the default position with all the switches turned white. So let's see here. So from 4th to 5th, on the first row, only 1 is affected. Second row, we're still good on time. 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah, because those are all going in a different direction. That makes sense. Good job, Kin. Okay. Can't beat a walkthrough that just says solve the puzzle and move on. Yeah. It wants to be able to say, well, it has solved some puzzles on its own. But it wants to really be able to say, like, no, we really, really puzzled the shit out of this. At least one time. If it could do it at least one time in a playthrough for a game like this, it'll be satisfied. Confesses, though, that probably this isn't the most exciting thing to watch. Hence why Sometimes we just cave for the walkthrough a little quick. That's why I have so much respect for Toasted Post. If you haven't yet, go check out that dude. He's really cool. He does not speed through it. He's like, nope, we're going to actually figure this out. Sometimes, well, he has caved a few times maybe and gone to the same hint system that Kin's been using. But anyway, all right, so let's back out. And then go back in. So we know where we're starting with. Oh no, we're supposed to just hit the thing. Now we have to do this whole dance around the damn room. The movement in this game, it just makes you want to punch yourself in the face. We only have like 10 minutes. We probably won't be able to do it this time. That's sad. Kid's sad. It was like, no, wait, we actually have something to work with here. Oh, man. Ooh, okay, there we go. We can just spin around. I was afraid that it was... Because there are some rooms where, like, if you move forward and you go the wrong way, you're going to have to go all the way around the room to get back to where you wanted to be. But, okay, so there's the default. Now it just needs to make sense of what's going on here. So this way's clear. So this way is already clear. We want that to stay clear. It looks like all we need to do is move. Well, but we have to do it in 3 moves or the ball won't move. So if we did, let's see, we could do 4th switch. Don't worry about it. I've looked up solutions while I'm live. I just make a joke about it. Something like, solved it first time, totally didn't have game facts open on a separate tab. Nope, not at all. Yeah, that's fair. It's been thinking about doing a lot of games, so sorry for saying that over and over, but it was considering doing Resident Evil because the new Resident Evil game's coming out. And it absolutely feels like, even with that game, it needs a walkthrough. Not necessarily because the puzzles are impossible to beat, but because there's so much backtracking. And it's like kind of like this, where if you got to go through the doors and you have to sit through that whole animation of the door opening. You can't skip it. So that's kind of more the time saving there. It's like, it's less that the puzzles are impossible to beat and more like it doesn't want to have to sit through the same door animations over and over, running through all of these different rooms constantly to try to remember what puzzle hint or go find that item or whatever. It's your favorite franchise. Love doing the randomizers. Fun fact, I played the first game before it was released. Even got it tattooed on me. Oh, wow. That's awesome. That's cool. Nice. That's pretty sick. So you're really excited about the new installment coming out at the end of the month, huh? It wishes it had the money to get it. It wishes it had the money to get the whole damn series that's on sale right now on Steam. Pretty good deal, but it's already spent enough on other things for the stream, including a whole new mic setup. So Kin's a little short. A little short. Maybe we should just bite the bullet and just start hitting buttons. Let's do the first switch. And then after the first switch, let's do... We only want that top switch to go once. Oh gosh, this is so hard. 4th? Unless we can do it again. Maybe we do 4th, then 5th? No, because now we just block ourselves off. I am also slightly annoyed because it releases on the 27th and I'm doing a 30-day charity event which starts on the 27th. Well, you know, it's good that you're doing a charity event. You've got your priorities straight. That's really great that you're doing that. I've always kind of wanted to do something like that. We kind of need the followers first. But that's awesome. Yeah, that weekend is also Kin's son's birthday. He turns 12. Mash buttons to victory, just like when I play fighting games. Nice. Yeah. Mashing buttons is a legitimate learning strategy when you're trying to figure out fighting games sometimes. Like, you just pay attention to what you're pushing, and you can kind of start figuring out, like, oh, if we do this, then you can recreate certain moves. Because sometimes it looks at, like, those big, giant move lists, and it's just really overwhelming. Like Tekken, it really likes Tekken, but it never was good at juggling, which is when you kind of kick up your opponent and just keep doing moves that keep them up in the air. It was never good at that, ever. Okay, so we did 2. Let's try 3. Bottom switches are still open. Let's see here. Okay, so what affects this one? Oh, there's only a few that do, and then none of them affect the things that it wants. We have to do it in the right order. Harsh game. I'm terrible and lose at them a lot. Only really play Smash Bros. For fun and Street Fighter 2 Turbo when I'm feeling nostalgic. That's fair. Rambles, honestly, even Super Smash Brothers, Ken has had trouble with. Like, it's not good at doing the shielding and the dodges. It's just bad. It tried doing its friends were doing like a tournament for Super Smash Brothers during COVID. We were all playing online, and it got its ass kicked. So bad. It remembers for some reason doing a lot better back before everybody got really, really good. But yeah, that's definitely not Kin's game. It loves playing it with the family, but even its husband and son get frustrated over the chaos. They don't like chaos. They like knowing exactly what's going on and controlling the variables. They're those kinds of gamers. So, but hubby really does like Street Fighter. If Ken likes Tekken, hubby likes Street Fighter. It's kind of frustrating. We can never enjoy playing fighting games together because of that. Let's just keep moving. We know we got this one wrong. So whatever affects that bottom switch, we're going to want to do maybe whatever it is that we're going to do for that bottom switch, which there's 1, 2, 3 switches that affect it. It's the second, third, and fifth switch. We're going to have to do that one last. But then it also does mean that one of these switches we're actually going to have to do for the first or second choice because, well, we want to flip it back because once we open it, it starts open. If we look at the board, compromise and play Virtual Fighter on the Sega Saturn. Yeah, we probably should try that. Neither of us are well versed in that game. Soul Calibur is a fun game. It was always like an Ivy main. Yeah, see here, look. So this is all open. Whenever there's 3 switches out of the 5 that affect this switch here. So odds are high that we're going to have to hit one of those and then hit another one that opens it back up again. Trouble is which? Maybe the 5th switch first? Because that closes this one. And we're going to want to open that one as well. Pretty sure. Soul Calibur 2 is the best one, mostly because of being able to play as Link in the GameCube version. Yes! Yes! It has so many fun memories of playing with its middle school friend group, and we were just having a blast fighting over who would pick Link. And so Ken would always just pick Ivy because that was easier. And it was really cool. It owns that one. It's pretty sure it owns that one on GameCube. A lot of its retro game collection is in storage, sadly. Okay, so we did the 5th switch. It's really hard to try to visualize all of these doors opening and closing. Even with the notes and like having the doors that are affected by each switch. It's just hard. But it wants to say probably it feels kind of confident that the 5th switch should be the first one. Okay. So glad it dropped on Nintendo Switch Online, even though I have it already. Yeah, that's cool. Ken used to have Nintendo Online, but we had to axe that one because too many subscriptions. Everybody's got the same problem. But sadly, Ken has to cut this short here. It really, really wanted to make some progress on this puzzle. It felt like we're maybe on the right track, but because we have to go pick up our husbands now, we're gonna have to end the stream here. But thank you very much, Scrambles, for joining and following, and for anybody else who might be watching either on Kick or YouTube or Twitch. Okay, yeah, man, go get some sleep. Go get your Z's, Scrambles. Get some rest. Kim's very happy to have you join. It was very nice. Absolutely. We'll see you on Discord. All right, man. Goodbye, everybody. Thank you very much. We'll have to try again some other time. Bye-bye.